So at 8:30 this morning, we were at the port for takeoff on our shuttle out to Santa Cruz Island.
Part of the Channel Islands National Park.
And on the way,
we got to see sea lions.
They actually have to come out of the water to warm up, is what they told us. So
yep.
And then we found some dolphins.
A lot of dolphins.
A lot of dolphins. And they kind of told us that if you see 500 dolphins, you multiply it times 5, and that's how many dolphins that's under the sea or something like that.
Well.
You can only see like 1/5 of them on top of the water.
Yeah, that's more like it.
So if you see 50 times 5, 250.
Yeah, something like that. Some sort of math. I think they were making that up. But there was literally one point where the boat was surrounded by dolphins.
Right. What the theory of that was, dolphins actually round up fish into a big, like a dolphin bucket. And the whales come into that bucket and take all the fish that the dolphin have run together.
It's called a bait ball.
A bait ball. So the guy in the boat, our shuttle, he actually tried to get into that, and we were all looking around the outside of the boat for a whale to come up and eat his lunch.
We never did see a whale come up.
Not there.
Not at this point, no. We were just watching the dolphins play here. And, I mean, you can kind of see them playing out in the back, and they were playing in the wake as the boat was moving. They were just having a good old time, and these were common dolphins, they said. They were just hanging out, playing all over the place. Whee!
We watched them for a while.
Yeah, we probably sat there 10 minutes before the captain said, "Okay, we gotta go."
Kind of cruising around there a little bit.
Yep. Look at them.
I mean, that was a bunch.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And the ones in the water right beside it, floating, speeding by, they were pretty doggone.
They were fast. I love them. They were so cute. Oh, and I saw jellyfish in the water too. One of them was huge. It had purple markings, and then I saw another smaller one.
Yeah, our driver, he's actually making circles. You can see the arch in the water there.
Yep.
And we're hanging around that oil rig that they're apparently dismantling it.
Yep.
The lady told us they evidently got all the oil or whatever they can get out of that location, and they're making them dismantle it instead of letting it just sit there.
Right.
And then we get closer to Santa Cruz Island.
Yep.
Which is the Channel Islands National Park.
Yes, there's actually 8 islands.
There's a whale.
Yeah. There's actually 8 islands in the Channel Islands, but there's only 5 you can visit. Oh, you even got a whale tail. Good job.
Almost, yep.
Anyway, you can't go to all the islands. One of them is pretty far away anyway, so.
We actually, this is coming into the island, and there's a lady on there, first name is Carol, and she gave a 1 mile hike and discussion about the Santa Cruz Island.
That was a little sea lion.
That was a sea lion. And of course, this is all the people getting off the boat. And there's multiple opportunities. I didn't know you could camp there, but there's actually campsites.
Yep.
And some of the people had loaded all their gear on the boat and went out there, and they camp, spend the night or 2 or 3 nights, and then come back home. There's hiking trails all over this island, and they told the history of it.
Well, there's hiking on only part of the island. We discovered later.
It's other parts of something else. What was that?
The National Park Service.
Okay. Of course, there's another flyer that I took a picture of on the trail. But she told that back in the day, they actually, I'm going to step back once. They said they found a bone here that was dated back 17,000 years ago. So there was a human bone on that island 17,000 years ago. And this is just part of the island. I mean, it's some beautiful rock formations.
So we did the 1 mile hike with her, and then we took another hike that we wanted to do over to Potato Harbor, is what it's called. And we ended up hiking about a total of 5 miles on this island.
Right. When we first walked in, she stopped and said there was there's a growth of weeds. I forget what the thing weeds were called, but you couldn't. They said when they first came to the island, you couldn't go from one side to the other without getting down on your hands and knees and crawling. And then a guy ended up taking the island. Somebody else, some country, or somebody else came in and they brought sheep here. And the sheep, they ended up when the National Park Service actually took the land, they had to remove the sheep. And the sheep were 20,000 sheep or something like that.
Over 19,000 sheep were on the island. They thought there was like 10,000.
Right. And they ended up having to evacuate 20,000 sheep.
Yeah.
And they actually ate all of the vegetation down. And they claim it is a recovering island now.
Yeah. These are just some ravens that we saw.
And then they saw us.
Yes.
See, they're looking right at you.
And they were a mess. They were just sitting there waiting for food. But you didn't have a bad view on this island. It was all just gorgeous. There's a marker. I love the markers, so I always take a picture of them. Sorry. And if you see the white line in the water, that was all the way around the island. And we talked to Carol later, and she said that she thinks that is the
acid something, wasn't it?
Oh, it's some sort of toxic buildup that is in the water.
Right.
There's a lizard. I'm going to get a picture of a lizard. But anyway, that's what that white in the water is. You can kind of see it there too.
A circle.
Yep. But later, I think that's growing on the kelp and the kelp forest, and that's how it's showing up and why it's not moving.
And it's killing something. What was it killing?
I don't remember. The fish, maybe? I don't remember.
The sea lions.
Was it the sea lions?
Because they had tags from the sea lions.
Yes.
And the dolphins. They were tagging them and trying to keep track of them, how many was dying. But the island itself, they used to have bald eagles on it.
Yep.
Lots of them. And then they found out that DDT,
Yep.
had been dumped in the ocean, and the bald eagles, eggshells weren't creating to be hard enough. So they actually faded away, and then the golden eagle came in.
They brought the golden eagle in.
And then the golden eagle is the one that was eating all the foxes.
Yep.
And they had to capture all the foxes they could, so they figured out what was going wrong with why they were going extinct. And they're a special fox. I forgot what the name of it was.
I think they're just an island fox.
That was a special name for it. But it was smaller fox. They had adapted to small. And but the golden eagle were killing off all the foxes, so they captured all the foxes, put them in a pen, kept them till they figured out what was going wrong with them, and they found out about the eagle. So then they started getting rid of the golden eagles and bringing in the American eagles back,
bringing the
bald eagles back, and now that's beginning to grow back. The foxes are and all the other wildlife.
Yep.
But it's really been an island that has been. They said it's been the fastest refurbished, reintroduced island that has gone to nothing and is coming back real fast.
Yes.
And what's that stuff called?
This is called the diatomaceous earth, and there's actually food grade of this, but this is used a lot in horticulture to stave off pests. It's a very fine dust, and it will get in ants and stuff, and it will basically chew them up because it's so sharp and stuff.
But that also told them that part of that island had been underwater at one time. And there's one of those foxes.
Yes.
We got a little video of him, and I got a picture of him coming up here in a minute. I don't know, that video is probably longer than
they're like 4 pounds. They're smaller than your normal house cat. And this is the first one we saw down at the picnic area.
And they told us that you'd see them in the afternoon. They don't usually come out in the daytime, but they come out in the afternoon. And what they're doing is checking to see. I guess that got crooked, didn't it?
Wow, way to go, Jim.
Who dropped some food on the ground?
Yes. Yes. Oh, the ravens. They have some of the ravens tagged because the ravens are picking on some of the nests, so they've got them tagged too.
And if they guarantee if they find that they have picking on nests, then they'll
move them.
They'll move them.
Yep. this is just more scenery of the island.
As we're getting ready to leave.
Yep. We were super impressed. If y'all ever get out here, please do this. I figured this is the only time my hiking boots are ever going to be on a boat.
Pelicans coming in back into face.
If you enjoyed our video, please select the subscribe and the like button below. To get to our next video, select one of the tabs. Comments are always welcome.